Hello, my name is Kira Walters, and today I'm going to be talking about plant medicine of the Ahtna tribe. So, just a quick disclaimer for everyone, you should never consume any plant, herb, or berry that you are not educated about. Use caution when consuming any substance and always have supervision. Some of these plants can be poisonous unless handled, cooked, or consumed in a certain way. Just keep this in mind while you're exploring this summer. So, what is plant medicine? Herbalism, or plant medicine, is a traditional medicinal or folk medicine practice based on the use of plants and plant extracts. Herbal medicine, also called plant medicine, botanical medicine, phytomedicine, or phytotherapy, refers to herbs, herbal materials, herbal preparations, and finished herbal products that contain parts of other plants or other materials as active ingredients. The plant parts used in herbal therapy include seeds, berries, roots, leaves, fruit, bark, flowers, or even the whole plant. So, as far as the history of plant medicine dates back as far as 60,000 years ago, back when it was being used in Iraq, and as far as 8,000 years ago in China. Plant medicine was the most popular form of medicinal treatment before the creation of aspirin, which ironically was created from a plant itself that was being prescribed in Egypt and Greece for doing the very thing that aspirin does now, which is treating inflammation and taking down fevers and pain. Modern medicine initially rejected the use of plant medicine. They pretty much said that there was little scientific evidence of its efficacy, despite many, many years of proven results and many, many years of happy customers, you could say. But in recent years, as you all probably have noticed, people have begun to move towards a marriage of Western and plant medicine as a solution for health problems. This is because people are noticing that there are certain side effects to chemical medication that you wouldn't see with plant medicine. So next I'm going to talk about some traditional plants that are used by the Ahtna tribe medicinally. So the first up on my list is a plant called fringed wormwood. Its traditional Ahtna name is listed right below the English one. And some pretty cool things that this plant can do. It treats flu and will break a fever. It treats coughs, clears up congestion, heals skin problems, prevents infection in cuts and scrapes and injuries, and it'll soothe some sore muscles. So how the Ahtna people would have traditionally prepared this plant is they would have dried its leaves and flowers up, crushed the substance up, and mixed it with hot water to create a tea. The individual would drink it to relieve any kind of internal ailment. And then if you had an injury that was on your skin, something that needed to be treated topically, the leaves would be dried and powdered before being applied directly to the wound. So next up is a plant called Devil's Club. You probably have heard it before. You know its prickly thorns. Maybe you've had a reaction to some of the thorns touching them. But interestingly enough, the Ahtna people found extremely useful medicinal value in this plant. So its traditional Ahtna name is listed right below Devil's Club, and it was used to treat infection, combat inflammation, and even break fevers. They would prepare this for medicinal use by boiling the stems, making it into a tea, and drinking it to break a fever. The roots could also be used to treat infection and inflammation. You would bake the roots until they were dry and then rub them together until they were soft and shredded, and then apply it to the afflicted area or wound. The next plant we're going to talk about is one called shrubby cinquefoil. Its traditional Ahtna name is right below. And some of the things that this plant would do. It would help to alleviate menstrual cycle symptoms and pain, and they even used it to combat tuberculosis, which is a pretty serious one. So using only the portion of the plant that grows above the ground, they would make a tea from this portion of the plant, and the individual who was sick would consume it, and then hopefully it would work to fend off tuberculosis. And another interesting part of this plant and sort of Ahtna tradition is on a girl's first menstrual cycle, they would place branches from this plant underneath her mattress or where she was sleeping, and it was said to shorten the time that she would be on her menstrual cycle and the years that it would come for her. The next plant on our list is one called Northern Yarrow. Its traditional Ahtna name is listed below as well. This plant was traditionally used to treat burns, relieve eye problems, stop bleeding and hemorrhages, relieve childbirth pain, combat measles, and decrease inflammation. In order to prepare it, the Ahtna people would dry the herb and apply it to the skin topically. It could be made into a tea and drank. They would also boil it and inhale it as a steam, and it could also be inserted into the nose to stop nosebleeds, and then also it would be put wherever you were hemorrhaging to stop that bleeding. Next up is the willow. The willow leaves specifically would be used to treat bee and bug stings. The branches would be used to help with childbirth pain, and it would even be used to help stop postpartum bleeding. The willow leaves were used topically to help lessen pain from insect bites and stings, and then the branches and the leaves of the plant were used to relieve the pain and the bleeding during and after childbirth. So the woman would go and bathe in water that was infused with willow branches and leaves and pitch, alder branches, leaves, and pitch, and also spruce branches, leaves, and pitch. Next, we're talking about white spruce. Its traditional Ahtna name is listed right below, and the white spruce was used to alleviate headaches, combat inflammation, combat arthritis, and relieve toothaches. So pitch or sap from the tree could be chewed to relieve headaches and toothaches, and they would heat up pitch from the tree and place it on caribou skin, and then that would be used as a bandage of sorts and placed on the body wherever you were inflamed or had the arthritis or had a wound to help heal it. Next up is the yellow cedar tree. Its traditional Ahtna name is listed below, and it would be used to treat burns and treat boils. They would burn the bark of this tree, and then those ground up ashes and charcoal from the burning would be applied topically to relieve whatever skin issue you were having. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the wild raspberries here in Alaska. Their traditional Ahtna name is also listed below. These guys are really high in vitamin B and C. It helps to ease pregnancy symptoms like morning sickness and labor pain, and it's also known to help with children and their upset stomachs. So these guys can be eaten raw, crushed up to use as dye for wool or linen, and they can be stored in bark to last through the winter and made into tea to treat these ailments. So really all there is to say now is go out and explore. See how many of these plants you can find where you live and identify. Be on the lookout this summer. Thank you for coming to my presentation. I hope that you guys all enjoyed it. And this is my works cited for this presentation. Thank you.